Back at Ontario Motor Speedway, I am Dave McClelland, and people are sitting everywhere ready for the action in semifinal round of Top Fuel Eliminator. Dwight Salisbury driving for Larry Frazier does a smoky burnout in that right-hand lane. Again, the burnout designed to heat up the tires, and in this case particularly, put down as much rubber on the racing surface as is possible, because they're trying everything to figure out what to do with this tricky traction condition that exists in that right-hand lane. The competition for Larry Frazier and Dwight Salisbury, the new world champion, Rob Bruins. He's driving the car owned by Gaines Markley, hailing from a suburb of Seattle, Washington. Salisbury retiring for a couple of years after campaigning his own car for a number of years, then jumping back into the driver's seat in the middle of this season and doing very well for car owner Larry Frazier. Of course, you know the story on Rob Bruins. He parlayed a series of divisional event wins and some fine showings at national events around the country to the 1979 World Champion title. He'd love to double it up right here at the World Finals, making it the World Champion and the World Finals Top Fuel Eliminator all in the same weekend. And a smoky leave by Dwight Salisbury. The track just not enough traction to hold the 2,000-plus horsepower. I'm sure it's detuned from that point. As you see, just frying the tires is Dwight Salisbury, and that's all Rob Bruins needed to set low elapsed time of eliminations at 6.04 seconds. Bruins, with that 6:04, getting out of his car, hoping it will hold up to where he can get the lane choice for the finals. It will be against one of these two drivers, Big Daddy Don Garlits or Dave Settles. The final race of the semifinal round, the Blue Max Dragster. The car's owned by Raymond Beadle, Foster Yancey, and Brad Camp. And Dave Settles, a very competent driver out of Dallas, Texas, does the driving. But he's got his work cut out for him as Big Daddy Don Garlits has got that left-hand lane. He ran a fine 6.06 seconds in it the round before. And Garlits easily outdistancing Settles, but the lane choice will go to Bruins, 6.08 seconds at 240 miles an hour. So it may be the break that Bruins needs to double it up. The world champion and the world finals champ all in the same weekend. Garlits, as you can see, just extends his lead with that fine 6.08 at 240 miles an hour.
Big Daddy, you mentioned earlier you'd been taking power out of the engine. What do you do now, as Rob Bruins will no doubt put you in that right-hand lane for the final?
I'll tune for that lane.
Is it possible, as it cools off, that that lane could get a little better?
You can win this race out of that lane.
With what tactic?
I don't want to talk about that.
Big Daddy being a little cagey, and who wouldn't be, going against Rob Bruins for a lot of money.
Not about ready to give away the secrets that he may try to use as he goes into the final of Top Fuel Eliminator against Rob Bruins. Here is Gordie Bonin, the Nationals champion. He's got that right lane. Let's see how he can do as he comes up against the Hawaiian, the car owned by Roland Leong and driven by Ron Colson. In the previous round, Colson ran a 6.35 second elapsed time, while Bonin ran a 6.40. Just 0.05 of a second separated their performances. Bear in mind they were both in the left lane in the previous round, and by virtue of the lower ET, the lane choice going to Ron Colson here in the semifinals. Together, and Colson goes out of control and crosses the center line, which means automatic disqualification. So Gordie Bonin moves into the finals. A fine 6.64 second elapsed time. His speed 231, as the best time turned yet today seems in that right-hand lane by Gordie Bonin. Right here is Ron Colson out of control. You see him heading into that right-hand lane. He backs off the throttle, turns the wheel back to the left, but it's too late. He's already crossed the center line, and that means instant disqualification. You can't cross the center line in any run in competition. Here's Gordie Bonin and Ron Colson.
Gordie Bonin, possibly the only driver this year to make it into 3 final rounds in national event competition.
Well, if that's the case, we're going to have to win it. I mean, we came here, there's only one thing to do, and that's win the darn thing.
Don Garlits just told me that a man can win this race in that right-hand lane.
He's not wrong. I don't know what we ran, but it felt pretty good for that lane. It felt the best run I've felt or seen all weekend in that lane.
In the 660s, and let's go back up to the starting line and see if you win lane choice.
Okay.
Okay, let's watch.
As Gordie Bonin watches, John Force hopefully overcomes his mistake of the previous round and will start the car in low gear off the starting line. He had a big break as he wanted his crew member directing him back into his own tracks, trying for the traction that he hopes, against hope, will be there. Alongside of him, Trip Shoemake. Driving for Johnny Loper. Shoemake hailing out of Phoenix, Arizona. As he told Steve a little bit earlier, this is the first time he got to the semifinals of a national event this year. In the previous round, Shoemake with a 6.60 easily outdistanced the time by John Force. But all important right now is how quick will they run to determine who gets the lane choice in the finals against Gordie Bonin. And they both smoke the tires. John Force drifting out towards the guardrail. He backs out of it and gets back in it, but it's too late as Trip Shoemake moves into the finals. His elapsed time, 6.88 seconds, and a dejected crew member heads back for John Force's crew to go down and tow the car back as race day is over for John Force. You see the two cars both losing traction right off the starting line, and Shoemake, recovering the quickest, gets the traction back and gets across the finish line first.
Well, the little guy is walking tall here today at the World Finals. I think this is your first ever final round appearance, and a big race.
It is. It's the first time I've ever been in an NHRA final. Wow, I'm awed.
Now, you won't have lane choice, but it's beginning to look like it's evening out.
Yeah, I don't. I'm not really sure what to do, but it's been so much luck all day. You know, I figure we can just at least long in the final. It helps out my crew and helps out everybody. You know, it's been a long weekend.
Pumps everybody up for the season to come.
Yeah, we had such a bad season anyway, and then to finish.
You get a lot of fires, a lot of burned up bodies. And...
Yes, our second car and my third fire suit.
Trip Shoemake. It hasn't been a good year, but things are looking up here in the final race of the season. Wife Susie in here, John Loper, who owns the car. Back to you, David.
Steve, we're getting set for the finals of Top Fuel, Funny Car, and Pro Stock here at the World Finals.